Round 11 of the NRL kicks off on Thursday night when the Newcastle Knights face the Brisbane Broncos at home. Before I get into my tips, it's the week after Magic Round. If you saw my Instagram story, I almost was going to delay my tips as it's pretty hard to speak after a huge weekend. One of the highlights of the weekend though, I'll show you guys if you missed the vlog. I did win myself a Queensland Maroons signed jersey. It's number 106 of 180 from Game 2 2021. Really stoked with that one. Without further ado, let's get into my round tips. So round 11 kicks off on Thursday night when the Knights host the Broncos. The Broncos, they've been playing some very good footy at the moment. They're looking like a full strength side as well. As for the Newcastle Knights, Anthony Milford makes his Newcastle Knights debut this weekend in the number 6 against his former club. Really looking forward to this. I think it will be a fantastic game. I think that the Knights, Tyson Frizzell's back for the Newcastle Knights. They're at home. They're coming off the win. They're going to have a lot of confidence going into this game. They didn't play their best footy against the Dogs, but there definitely were some moments where I think that they can give the Broncos a run for their money. As for the Broncos, they're just winning games easily. They're in some really good form. They kept Manly scoreless last week. Great wins at home against the Sharks and the Sea Eagle. This is going to be a tight game in my opinion. I don't think either team will win 13 plus. I think it will be a closer game than people think. And I'm going to go the Brisbane Broncos here. I just think they've got a little bit too much form at the moment. They'll be a little bit too fast-paced on the park for the Newcastle Knights. I do expect a fight from the Newcastle Knights, and I think it'll be a really good game of football. So I'm going to go the Brisbane Broncos by 10 here. I think they'll win 26 points to 16. And I feel like Katoni Staggs might just be the first try scorer on Thursday night to kick off Indigenous round. Second game of the round sees the Canterbury Bulldogs playing the West Tigers at Leichhardt. The Tigers, they competed really well against the Cowboys, who have proven themselves to be a really quality side this year, consistently staying in the top 4 as we reach almost the halfway point of the season. I can't believe I predicted this team to be wooden spoon. So many years of missing the 8. This could be the finals drought ending after 5 years of failure for the Cowboys fans. It's a great season so far. Bulldogs, obviously Trent Barrett has stood down as coach. The Bulldogs looking at new coach potential. Gus Gould may be coming in. I've heard Jason Taylor could be another option thrown in there. But as for this game, really interesting game. It's a very hard game to tip in my opinion. Jake Simpkin and Luke Brooks out for the West Tigers. Brent Naden may be playing for the Tigers. He's departed from the Bulldogs and a lot of players rumoured to be making a backflip. So absolutely insane news there coming out of Canterbury. Jacob Carraz has been named in jersey number 19. I think he's a huge chance of playing. Jaden Okunbore's been named to start, but I think he could maybe potentially come out of the side and Carraz comes in, but we'll wait and see what happens. Jackson Topany has been named in the back row. Corey Waddell missing this one. And I mentioned the Tigers, Jake Simpkin, Luke Brooks, and so their halves are Jock Madden and Jackson Hastings. Look, it's at Leichhardt, so the Tigers, I think they deserve to be favourites, but they've got this game at $1.90, and teams always seem to perform after their coach is sacked. If you don't know, in NBA, in EPL, Nrl, it just seems to be a glowing factor. And I keep looking at this Bulldogs team on paper and thinking it's got to do well. It didn't do good against the Knights at all. There was no attack in the Dogs. The Kyle Flanagan, I rate him as a player. I loved him at the Roosters, but some of the decisions made on Friday night were terrible. And I think the Bulldogs can win this game. I'm going to take the Bulldogs here in a bit of an upset. I think the Bulldogs will win 18 points to 10. I think they can get over the top of the Tigers. The Tigers, the Leichhardt factor, I think it's going to be playing on their mind a little bit that they were beaten by the Cowboys last year at Leichhardt. They play Parramatta later in the year, so we'll see what happens there if they get the dub. But I'm going to go the Bulldogs 18-10. I think they'll be a little bit too good in a low-scoring game. I think that Tavita Pangai Jr. will score a try, so I'm going to back him as first try scorer. And I think the Dogs can actually beat the Tigers in an upset on Friday night. Next game is the rivalry game between the Parramatta Eels and the Manly Sea Eagles. Really looking forward to this game. It's undecided whether I will 100% be at this game, but there is a great chance that I'll be at this game. As for the Parramatta Eels, Micah Sevo has been named in jersey number 24. I think he's a huge chance of starting, but I think maybe Brad might keep him in New South Wales Cup for 1 to 2 weeks. I think Micah Sevo will be back in a week to 2 weeks. I think he might just miss out this weekend. Murata Niokore has been named to return via the bench, which pushes Bryce Cartwright back to the reserves. I'll tell you what, Bryce has been hard done by a lot of the time. I know the defence isn't great, but his attack sparks a lot to the team. Kind of like that Ryan Madison factor off the bench. And obviously Ryan Madison, if you haven't seen, he is starting lock. Nathan Brown coming off the bench. I think this is a really good move by Brad. Really looking forward to it. As for the Sea Eagles, Ben Trbojevic, who's played some great footy, obviously went out off last week at Magic Round. He is out for this one. Josh Schuster has been named for the Sea Eagles, and he's in jersey number 15. Parramatta, Bankwest here, absolutely flogged by the Sea Eagles. Very inconsistent Parramatta this year, but I did like what I saw against the Roosters in that second half. I think if Dylan Brown doesn't kick that ball, we potentially go on to win that game, or it goes to Golden Point. Fantastic game against the Roosters. I thought we played really, really well to get back into the contest. And I think we'll win this game, and I think we'll win it well. It reminds me a little bit, I'm scared to tip us because of the Cowboys a few weeks ago at home. I went Parramatta 13 plus, and we got absolutely flogged. And Manly, they've put big scorelines on us over the years. So I'm gonna go Parramatta by 14. I think we can win 30 points to 16. I just think at home will be a little bit too good. I think the players will be fired up after last week and returning to home. Manly Sea Eagles will go down. I'm going to tip Tom Opacek. I think Tom Opacek can score the first try for this one. Going to go my Eels to win by 14 on Friday night. The next game sees the Dragons up against the Warriors. The Dragons were defeated in my first ever Golden Point game. If you don't know already, the Golden Point House has been a running gag that I'll change my name to Golden Point House if I witnessed Golden Point. And after 132 NRL games, I did witness Golden Point. It'll be back to Entertain House by Friday night. Ready for that Eels game. Still undecided whether I'll vlog at the Eels and Manly. I think it's quite late at night and I'll have low battery if I vlog. So we'll wait and see. I'll let you know. But as for this game, the Dragons and the Warriors, another tough game to tip in my opinion. Cody Ramsey has been named at fullback for the Dragons, and Tyrell Sloan has been named on the reserves. Josh Maguire is out for this one. Edward Cozzy is out for the Warriors. Chanel Harris-Tavita has been named on an extended bench in jersey number 25. Eli Katoa drops to the reserves. Bunty Afoa, who played great last week. Freddie Lussick, Ben Murdoch-Masila and Aaron Penne on the bench for this one. Matt Lodge has been named in jersey number 10. So, yeah, it's a tough game to tip this one. I think it'll be another kind of low-scoring, grind-out game. And I think that the Dragons can win it. I really do. I think Ben Hunt has been playing some fantastic footy. Even though the Dragons didn't get the dub the other day, I thought he was fantastic. Had a big game. And I think Ramsey at fullback, it's an interesting choice. We've seen it in the past. I think that they can just get the win. I feel like it'll be a low-scoring Dragons victory. I'm going to go 20 points to 10. I don't have much confidence in tipping the Dragons here, but I think they've been the better team overall this season, especially with some of the wins they've had. The Warriors played very well against the Rabbitohs to get back and make a really good game out of it. But I think the Dragons by 10, and I'm going to take Ben Hunt to score the first try in this match. Next game is probably the game of the round in my opinion. We have a fantastic Super Saturday back-to-back at 5:30, 7:30. You could flip a coin on what's the game of the round, but I think the Cowboys playing at home at Townsville up against the Melbourne Storm. Melbourne Storm in recent years haven't been too kind to the Cowboys. I think they've won their last maybe 9 matches against them. Let me know if I'm wrong. But as for this game, the Cowboys, they look unchanged. They're riding a 5-game winning streak. Fantastic form at the moment for the North Queensland Cowboys. The Melbourne Storm, they don't lose back-to-back games with a huge chance to lose back-to-back here. Nelson Asafa-Solomona is out for this one. Jerome Hughes returns to the Melbourne Storm. Ryan Pappenhausen obviously still out. He's out for a while. Tyrone Wishart has been named once again at fullback. Really, really tough game here. I think the Cowboys will be right in this. I feel like it'll be a low-scoring game. I think if the Cowboys win this game, it will be huge and it will change my perception of them this season. At this point, I have them potentially finishing between 5th and 8th. I think if they win this game, they can be a top 4 side. It's a huge game. They're at home. They're riding this confidence. But I just think Melbourne, under Craig Bellamy, the likes of Cameron Munster, who was fired up in a press conference last week, will get the job done against the Cowboys. I'm going to go the Storm to win by 8 points. I'm going to go 20 points to 12. I think they'll be a little bit too good. And I think Xavier Coates will score the first try. This is going to be a fantastic game. Game sees the Sydney Roosters up against the Penrith Panthers. This game is at the SCG. Another great game, a Saturday night blockbuster. Panthers Roosters. Victor Radley is out for this one. Looks like the Panthers, no changes for the Penrith Panthers. And Lindsay Collins has been named on the bench with Nat Butcher replacing Victor Radley at lock. I think the Roosters, they played really well against Parramatta last week overall. Even in that second half, I thought they were quite a good side. They're definitely back. They're currently sitting in the top 4. They look really, really good, the Sydney Roosters. They're going to give Penrith a run for their money. But I just think the Panthers, I think they'll be a little bit too good for this game. I think it will be real tight though. Love the Panthers centres in Isaac Targo and Stephen Crichton. Looking forward to their defensive battles against Paul Momirovski and Joey Manu, who's one of the best, if not the best centre in the game. The halves battle of Luke Keary versus Nathan Cleary. Lots of battles to look forward to in the middle as well. But I think the Panthers, by a penalty goal, I reckon Penrith, or by 2 points, I reckon Penrith will win 16 points to 14. The Roosters need to be good defensively, and I think that's what we're going to see this game. Roosters defense. I was close to tipping the Roosters here, but I think the Panthers will be too good for the Roosters at the SCG. I'm going to go the Panthers 16-14. I'm going to go Jerome Luai to score the first try. He definitely knows how to run the ball and catch those bounces in the right position. So Jerome Luai to catch everyone off guard from the Roosters and score the first try in a Saturday thriller. Your Sunday ticket kicks off at Dubbo, Apex Oval, the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Raiders. At the start of the season, I made a video in which I predicted every NRL team's biggest upset. A few weeks ago, I forgot to tip the Brisbane Broncos as they went up against the Cronulla Sharks. I always said that the Broncos were a team that could push the Sharks at the start of the season and they'd win that game. What I said about the Raiders is that I've got them bottom 4, which I don't know where they'll finish. They're really hard to get a read on at the moment. I don't think they're a top 8 team by any means, especially right now, but they are 1 win outside the 8. I did say that their best win will be against the team that had a spot in that grand final, being the South Sydney Rabbitohs. As I mentioned, they're inconsistent. The Rabbitohs are probably in better form overall. The Rabbitohs had the win over the Warriors, 32 points to 30, but their defense wasn't great in that second half. As for the Raiders, the Kings are blowing second half leads, but they got on with the job, 30 points to 10 over the Sharks, missing some players, and they get Jack Whiten back this week. Jacob Host is out for the Rabbitohs as well. I'm going to go the Raiders 13 plus here, guys. I think that Canberra are starting to get the ball rolling. I think it was a great victory as well. So I think that back-to-back wins, let's make it 3 in a row for these Raiders. I'm going to go the Raiders to win by 16. I'm going to go 30 points to 14. I'm really shocked that Tom Starling is not starting in this side. You can just see how much of an impact when he comes on that field he makes. I don't know why Ricky doesn't do it. I just don't get it. But the Raiders to win 30 points to 14. Jordan Rapana to score the first try. Absolutely love the value in the Raiders on Sunday afternoon. Final game of the round sees the Cronulla Sharks face the Gold Coast Titans at Cbus Stadium. Now, I think this game is normally at Coffs Harbour, if I'm not mistaken, but this one, the Titans are at home. Lachlan Miller has been named to make his NRL debut at fullback. Obviously, Hines drops back into that 7 jersey after not the best game at fullback, but he's definitely a great player, having a great season nonetheless. Justin Holbrook has named the exact same team with Brian Kelly, Greg Marzou and Patrick Herbert amongst the reserves. Also, as for the Sharks, Dale Finucane is out for this one, replaced by Royce Hunt, and Cameron McInnes remaining at lock. Teague Wilton has been dropped to the bench, which is an interesting game, and Andrew Fafita could be playing his 200th game via the bench. So, yeah, Andrew Fafita, 200th NRL game, huge milestone for him. The Sharks will want to bounce back from that loss over the Raiders last week. The Titans weren't great. I think Tino will have a big game here. I think Tino, he ran some big meters, but he made a lot of errors over the weekend, so I think he'll be quite fired up. I thought Sexton played really, really well for the Titans against the Dragons. Talakai, he was getting involved, but he definitely probably wants to do more. So it's going to be a really interesting game, this one. I'm really looking forward to. I think it'll be, again, closer than people think. And I think everyone will probably tip the Sharks here based on form, but I'm actually going to tip another upset here, guys. I'm going to tip the Gold Coast Titans to win this game by 4 points. I think that they're riding the confidence right now, and they're going to go, I don't know if they're going to go on a bit of a run here because I haven't had a look at their draw, but I think they can get, say, 2-3 wins in a row, shock everyone. I think one of the teams they can shock is the Sharks. I'm going to go the Titans 22 points to 18. I reckon Isaac Liu being in the back row for the Titans, I'm going to back him as my first try scorer for this game. The Gold Coast Titans are going to beat the Sharks on Sunday afternoon. Those are my tips for the round, guys. Let's get into, I don't have a multi. Make sure you check out my Instagram at the moment, Golden Point House, but it will be Entertain House by the weekend. I post my multis and predictions, but I've gone with my 8 try scorers. I've been doing these really, really well. So if you've been listening, keep listening. I'm going to go Daniel Saifidi. He scored a try last week. He's at home. Newcastle Knights to bag a try with Daniel Saifidi. As for the Bulldogs, I think they'll be too good for the West Tigers. I'm going to go Max King off the bench to score a try. As for the Eels, I'm going to go with Regan Campbell-Gillard to score a try this game. Dragons, I'm going to go with Matt Fine on the wing. Fairly safe choice there. The Cowboys, I reckon Tom Dearden will bag a try against the Melbourne Storm. Love to see Drinkwater get one against his old club. As for the Roosters, I'll go with James Tedesco. It's a pretty safe pick. He's in some great form, getting some try assists, one or a try of his own. For the Raiders over the Rabbitohs, I'm going to go with Matt Frawley to score a try. And coming off the bench for the Sharks with a bit of impact and making it a close game, in my opinion, Teague Wilton, but the Titans win. Anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Check out my Magic Round vlogs. That's about it. That's my tips for the round. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later.